good thing, you know, we all got a wireless now, because I loved when I'm the MC for the wedding ceremony. I love to walk around, but with the wired microphone, it's hard. I love the wireless microphone, so I get to walk around the whole party room. Yeah. Back then, it's a party animal. Well, still, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I still attending the nightclub. That's true. Yeah, still. Last time I went on the Orange County, that one's pretty good. They call Time or something, right on Costa Mesa, close to Newport Beach. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Paragraph 29. Okay, we'll continue. Time is session and entire contract and changes. Time is the essence. All the understanding between the party are incorporated in this agreement. Its terms are intended by the party as a final, complete, executed expression of their agreement with respect to this subject matter, and may not be contradicted by evidence of any prior agreement or contemporaneous oral agreement. Don't promise anything if you cannot deliver, because your client, doesn't matter, seller or buyer, may holding you with your oral agreement. Being a sales rep, I know we do talking a lot. That's like I do. At this moment, I have to talk. But when I'm the buyer's agent or listing agent, listen more than talking. Sometimes, I know, when you are nervous, you tend to talk a lot to try to cover your nervous. I understand, especially a newcomer. You don't know what to answer. It's okay. Tell them, I don't know. It's a great question. You compliment already. Doesn't matter if it's a great question or not, but it's always like, that's great. That's a great question. I don't know, but let me find out for you. It's okay. Tell them, I don't know. Typically, that's the American way. Asian, huh? I thought you're supposed to know that. That's different. But on the other thing, it's just like, on this, why I try not to tell you anything on the oral agreement, because sometimes it may exceeding our knowledge or our expertise. We didn't carry CPA license. We didn't have the attorney license, unless you have it. I don't. Okay. Besides that, I only got driver license. Yeah. So I don't have any other license, not anymore. Not like used to be. I still have appraisal or something other license. Not anymore. It's all expired. But you rather keep the mouth shut. People think you still smart. When you start doing the talking, they won't know. You don't know anything. You keep the mouth shut. People will say, okay. Why is not? Why you are not talking? Or just like I do, it's like, you ask a great question. I'm still learning. Let me find out for you, because that's exceeding my knowledge. That's the American way. You don't feel the shame to tell people, I don't know. So that's why don't promise anything if you cannot deliver, because the oral agreement is still considered an agreement. If any provision of this agreement is held to be ineffective or invalid, the remaining provision will nevertheless be given full force effect, except the otherwise specified. This agreement shall be interpreted. Dispute shall be resolved in accordance with the law and the state of California. Neither this agreement nor any provision in it may be extended, amended, modified, altered, or changes, except in writing signed by the buyer and seller. Is our contract, can we be eliminate or adding anything? Not on the residential purchase agreement or any of our agreement. I know the commercial, you can eliminate adding something, that's fine. But the standard one, what you see here, you cannot cross it out. I don't like this one. This one is not applied to me. No, you may not. So you have to keep it the way it is. If any changes, issue the addendum. Issue the addendum to modify or amend it. Don't do anything, not try, but don't do anything on the original. You can add in the addendum to supersede the original purchase agreement. That's fine. Just like can we shorten the contingency period by default or by seller? Sure. You submit a 17 day, seller say, can you shorten to 10 days? If you agree, then become 10 days. So later on, when we talk about a counter offer or sell a multiple counter offer, those are, there's a lot of blank spot. You can, issue, you can put everything in. If you think the counter offer is not enough to writing, you can certainly attach addendum. But if you put too many items or too many things, on the counter offer, you may just scare the buyers away, especially you're the listing agent. If bank-owned property, maybe, I understand. But a regular, if you put everything, buyers say, wait a minute, is this sellers are willing to, are they going to sell it or not? You just scare the buyer away. And try not to repeat sorry in the purchase agreement. Because when you start repeating, it's not like you emphasize it. Some people, some agent, they like to emphasize it. The item is quite important, or playing something, being a hero like in front of a seller. I don't do that. I say if anything is already it's in the purchase agreement, I will not repeat it unless I want to modify. Keep it simple. I don't know why some of our agents, they like to make it so complicated. And when I see the itemized, got so many in the counter offer, I say, is everything already purchased? It's just repeating. And that has a tendency to, I'm sorry, let me go and shut the phone. Hold on. Why am I problem? Hello? Play the back. Nothing really important. I know once. Yeah, my brother even asked me, he says, did you have a SIM card when you go outside of the country? Yeah, I have to buy the prepaid phone card. So, when you have the counter offer, if you list a bunch of stuff, actually, just, they have a tendency to scare the buyer, even you are repeating, because buyer doesn't know. Buyer doesn't know you are repeating. And if you're the buyer's agent, it doesn't really diffuse the nervous for the buyer. Usually I tell them, don't worry, those items are repeating. And I have to spend more time, tell them, where is that? Show them, where is it in the purchase agreement? And tell them, it is repeating. Otherwise, they will get scared. Is this seller willing to sell or not? Okay? So that's why, if you are the listing agent, try not to repeating already existing in the purchase agreement. Okay? Because it's there. That means you have to, when the buyer submitted offer, you're the listing agent, they already know. They They agree. And don't repeating something you already agree. Because if you put wrong wording, what's that considered? Because a counter offer will supersede the purchase agreement. You just make the thing worse. So don't repeating anything unless you know you want to modify. Like shorten the contingency period, or increase the initial deposit, or say like or modify the escrow days, okay, something like that. Then understand. Other than that, don't repeating. 30, we know all the definition without repeating. What's the acceptance? Mean the time the offer or the final counter offer is accepted in writing by the party and is delivered to a person's received by the other party. And that party authorized agent is accordance with the terms and this offer or final counter offer. So how many steps? You have what? Offer or final counter offer. Okay, that's only 2 steps. Is accepting in writing by a party. Then after that, also, once you're receiving, okay, then you gotta have the receiving by other party. And that party authorized agent, that means initial to acceptance, the counter offer or the purchase agreement. It's accordance with the term of this offer and the final counter offer. So that means the agent or the buyer have to initial to accept the offer. Then it's going to be completed, the acceptance. But technically, once you've like counter offer or the purchase agreement, once the other party sign, it's already considered binding agreement. It's already binding. It's not fully acceptance yet, but it's binding already. Then the other party, it has to be acknowledged. So I will follow that, on the last page of purchase if no counter. B, agreement means this document and any counter offer and any incorporated addenda collectively forming the binding agreement. Between the party, addenda are incorporated only when signed by all parties. Signed. When you have signed, that's an agreement. That's considered binding agreement. So anything with the signature, that's binding already. Why the acceptance, acknowledgement, only initial? Because it's only acceptance, it's only acknowledgement. It's already agreed. It's already have a binding agreement. So that's why the signature different than initial. When you have a signature, that means agree. Initial, basically, acknowledgement. Acceptance, the acknowledgement. That's it. So it's different. So that's why a lot of people may mess up. What's the acceptance? What's the agreement? Yeah. C. Well, the CAR form means the most current version of the specified from the reference another comprehensive form agreed by to the party. Now we all know the CAR mean. If you don't, you haven't joined the board. D, close of escrow, including COE, means the date the grantee and other evidence of transfer of title is recorded. The title has been recorded, then considered close of escrow. Before recorded, it's not close of escrow. It's not. So that's why we have, when it's escrow, for example, banks already funded, doesn't mean close. Did you ever see that? Fund the loan, taking after a week to record it. I have once. It never happened to me until a year ago. In one case, not my fault, not buyer's fault. Already funded. Well, actually, all cash offer. All the money into the escrow. But why taking 1 week to record it? Title company, they thought everything is okay, or the paperwork, because this is more like the inherited sales or maybe something like that. So their sibling have to go get the signature, whatever the form may be, they need it through escrow. But when bring all the paperwork to the because title company, they have to bring all the paperwork or send it over to where? County recording office. And county recording office rejected. First time I heard, huh? They rejected? For what? Oh, you used, first of all, they say you using the wrong form. Escrow didn't find out. Title company did not find out until they get on the recording office. Oh, you should have using this form. You should use this form and re-sign it. And that's because the one of the sibling out of state. And when you re-sign it, have to notarize again. Ouch. Delay 1 week. Then record it again. Done. So that means that escrow is not close it until actually recorded. So that means, and you gotta have to wait until recorded. So don't assume, I would say 99.99%, it won't happen like my case. But I experienced 0.1%. I'm so lucky. I got it. Oh, it really happened. It really happened, you know. So that means the paperwork is wrong. It can delay close of escrow day. So that means for example, if that's a finance loan, that 1 week, who's gonna pay the interest? Buyer. Buyer have to pay the interest, whatever, for that week. Well, but the property tax will prorate it until close of escrow. So a little bit different. Seller doesn't really care much on the buyer's issue. But lender has to be notified. Hasn't closed yet, hasn't recorded because the lender said, fine, as long as somebody paying the interest, I already fund the loan. If it's a finance, after 1 week, make sure, or whatever the issue, and make sure recorded. Otherwise, we're in the big trouble. You already fund the loan. And if you can, for some reason, you cannot record it, and the escrow did not close. That's okay. The escrow did not close it, and that's going to be a problem. So make sure it doesn't have those situations happen, E, copy, mean copy by any mean, including photocopy, NCR, face mail, that's a fax, or electronics. Okay. And F, days, mean calendar days. However, after acceptance, the last day of the performance of any act required by this agreement, including close of escrow, shall not include any Saturday, Sunday, legal holiday, and shall instead of the next day. Okay? So that's a close escrow day. It has a business day. Escrow day are closed for any holiday. I don't know why, because as long as the bank, they close. So same thing, the bank, they close any holiday. Even we did not, it's not considered a legal holiday or whatever holiday may. Well, it's a legal holiday, but it's only for elementary school. Sometimes not even high school, they have a day off. And bank close. When bank close, escrow close. Okay? When escrow close, what also close? Lender close, because bank close. Loan officer, they are not working. Only we are. We are working 365 days a year. And sometimes we have to work 366 days. So whole years around. And we don't get day off. It's not, that's why a lot of loan officers, they carry the same license that we do, but they don't want to get in our job is because our working hours too long. Yeah. But if you do the time management properly, I can still enjoy my life. I do a lot of exercising. F, days. those are you gotta consider. Every time it's the calendar day, except the escrow, they are considered, or when they fall in the 30-day, for example, your escrow day just fall in to the holiday, they will push to the next business day. G, day after, mean the specified number of a calendar day after the occur the event, specified not counting the calendar day on which the specified event occurred and ending at 11:59 p.m. on the final day. And days prior mean the specified number of a calendar day before the occurrence of the event specified, not counting the calendar day on which the specified event is scheduled to occur. I know even till today, and coworkers still asking me, if we accept, just, I use the same scenario because I know by wording you may be saying, what's different between day after or day prior, okay? When you're accepting the offer at 11:59 Friday night, what's the first day of the, well, if you give it, if the buyer accepting the offer, they signing back or you receive it by 11:59, what's the first day of their contingency period? Saturday. But if they're accepting at midnight, 12:01 or 12, then becomes Sunday is the first day. Clear? I mean, people still ask me this question. And they've been practicing for a long time. They say, what is the first day? What is the first day? On a contingency period. So you guys are pretty clear. That's why. Okay? Day after. All right, delivered or delivery, unless otherwise specified in writing, mean that should be effected upon personal receipt by buyer or seller of the individual real estate licensee for a principal as specified in section title real estate broker on page 10, regardless of the method used. Messenger, mail, email, fax, or other. So like our disclosure statement, title report, natural hazard disclosure statement, escrow instruction, those are considered, has it been delivered? Well, certainly we're all using the email now, pretty much. We hardly have the escrow. Can you send us a hard copy? You know what escrow tell you? You print it yourself. I don't know if any escrow still send you the hard copy. The whole package. Used to be we received this thick whole package overnighted. Not anymore. I haven't received those thick whole package for long time. Oh, good for you. And then the old school escrow, or is it okay? Wow. Okay. Old school. Okay. You expecting those escrow probably will eliminate it very soon. In Alhambra, okay, because the Alhambra, they got a lot of elderly person. A lot of elderly person, they don't even believe the digital signature. It's okay. We'll get on the wet ink if we need that. But if the digital signature save everybody some time, but the I don't know why the escrow, but I think those some of the escrow, if they don't play to catch up, that's mean if they don't play to catch up with the technology, what I end up with, eliminate it. Just like last week, I tell you guys, Amazon is the biggest company pretty much in the world, the richest CEO. Okay, one of the biggest. I know it's like probably the the business wise, just top 5 company, they all stayed here in the United States and the worldwide. They make most of the money, but they lay off 10 to 20,000 people. Why? Amazon Go is it's automatic store, pretty much, and the those warehouse, they are actually automatically distribute. With all the machine, everything, they shut the light, and they all know, where's all the items is. So if you don't catch up with the technology, then be careful. Just same thing like we do. If we don't catch up, you don't. If he, you know what? Does every agent know how to do the digital signature? Not really. Did every agent using the smartphone? Not really. But if you don't catch up, what's next? You get eliminated. You're out. So we gotta have to stay on top of the edge. You know, everything what you have. Who knows? You know, next time, you know, I may, you know, carrying the VR with me. Hey, a few years later, yeah, possibly. Yeah. Yeah, you see what I see. Okay. J, electronic copy and electronic signature means as applicable. An electronic copy or signature comply with the California law. Buyer and seller agree that electronic means will not be used by either party to modify, alter, or contain integrity of this agreement without a knowledge of consent of the other party. So that means the escrow doesn't even read the contract. What do? We got a purchase agreement. We already admitted electronic signature is valid. Yeah. And that's comply with California law. So if you doesn't know how to use a digital signature, you better learn. They already show it here on a purchase agreement. Law means any law, code, statute, ordinance, regulation, rule, and order, which is adopted by the controlling city, county, state, and federal legislative, judicial, executive body, or agency. So we certainly like to have to know the law as much as you can, but don't practice the law if exceeding the real estate. When I'm saying practicing, that means keep your mouth shut. Close your mouth. I know a lot of people tell you how to talk a lot, talk. But I tell you, listen more than you do the talking. Okay? L, the repairs mean any repair including pest control, alteration, replacement, modification, retrofit, and party provide for under this agreement. So we all pretty much know the repair. That's, cover a lot. M, sign mean either the handwriting, electronic signature, or on an original document. Copy or any counterpart. That means copy is considered as a legal document. So it doesn't have to be original. I know some of the agents, they may still want to deliver the original between office to office. Is it your escrow too? Not the escrow? No? Yeah. Tell them send a messenger. I don't have time for that. 31. Expiration is the offer. This offer shall be deemed revoked and the deposit, if any, shall be returned to the buyer unless the offer is signed by the seller and a copy of a signed offer is personally received by the buyer or by, that's the, who is authorized to receive? Me. You're the agent. Don't forget to put your name on it, okay? By the 5 p.m. on the third day after the offer is signed by the buyer or by whatever the day. That is, I will put it something maybe like 3 months later if it's a short sale or half year later. That means I keep this purchase agreement valid for 3 months or half year, because that take how long to do the short sale if you submit a short sale offer. Bangkok, probably 1 week to 2 weeks. Oh, I would say play safe, 10 days to 2 weeks, because sometimes the bank did not respond that quickly. Otherwise, it's considered third day after the buyer signed. After. It's not when you prepare. You may prepare a couple of days before the buyer sign. So it's 3 days after the day of the buyer sign. The day when buyer signed, that particular day doesn't count the day. 3 days after. 5 p.m. But if, for example, seller did not respond for 3 days, I have one case. Seller did not respond, signing the hour purchase agreement. That's a standard sale after a month. And counter offer back and forth. So from initial offer to open escrow would take 2 months. Is that contract still valid? Yeah. As long as seller sign, that's a binding agreement. Doesn't matter 1 month later or not. Binding agreement. Then counter offer. Okay. So before the initial offer to open escrow, I look at it. Boy, 2 months. So it's still okay. Those purchases are good. So third day, that means the escrow, the purchase agreement, this purchase agreement expire. But as long as seller sign it, this purchase agreement become valid, alive again. Yeah, because seller agree. So you date it, you print it, for the buyer's name, automatically they will print it out if you fill it in, on the first page of a purchase agreement. And if you do have additional signature addendum attached, for example, when you have a 3 buyer, for example, on the first page of a purchase agreement, you can fill in how many buyers? Did you notice that? Maximum 4. But you don't have a signature for signing all 4. It's only showing on the first page of a purchase agreement. Let me kind of show you. That means you need to attach the other 1 or 2 signature if see that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 buyer. You fill in all 4 here, but doesn't mean you signing all 4 on every page. So that means that's why we put all 4 or 3 or 4 people is because notify the seller and so do the escrow. We do have 4 people looking for additional signature addendum. Don't miss that. Basically, just well, this is only 2. Then you put a 2 buyer. If you have up to 4, you put in all 4. Yeah, this is updated one. Just like one of the cases, when I have 3, you know what I did? I'll just get back here. You'll see it. You'll see it. No, not this one. No, not this one. Not this one. This is the lease. No, not this one. See here? 3. But on the bottom, still 2 initial. Then all the way to the page here, additional signature right here. Okay? Then they will attach with additional signature addendum like this. Okay? This is additional signature addendum. You put 2 buyer here, seller here, and another buyer here, and has a buyer signer here. Then the buyer has the initial. Huh? Yeah, or 4th buyer. Yeah, if the 3rd and 4th signing the same form. If he got 4 buyer, only the 3rd and 4th buyer signing this. First and second, they sign everything as regular. Third and fourth, they're signing on this. This one you can use it up to fifth. But unfortunately, then we can sign 3 more buyer or seller here. Because if the seller has so many, then definitely you can do that. Yeah. Signing the regular purchase agreement, everything. But you can showing the third and the fourth on the first page of the purchase agreement. Okay, that's different. They don't need to sign, but they sign it right here. They don't sign regular anything, a purchase agreement, because they are the third one or fourth one. You sign it right here. And initial. I agree to have a dispute decided in accordance with the arbitration provision, and I agree for the liquidation damage provision. This is probably the most important because deal with the lawsuit, mediation, and also the money, liquidation damage. Other than that, first and second, they can make a decision. Okay. Very good. Minor, technically, no. They cannot sign it. It has to be legal adult, 18 years old. They could add it later. You don't want to put the kid's name signing all the paperwork. They don't even know. If the baby, how can you hold a pen? You can't. So it has to be legal age. But can you add the kid's name after close of escrow? Sure. You do the quick claim deed, adding a baby's name. But that's a really bad decision. Why I'm saying that? Because when you sell the property, has to be what? Legal age. But when you sign it, when you sell the property, it has to be signed and notarized. So that means if you want to add your kid's name to the property, you better make sure you don't sell this house until they are passing their legal age. Otherwise, you're stuck. You're stuck. You cannot sell the house without the baby's signature. Yeah. Because when you're adding, that's why you don't, during the purchase, we try to avoid that, complication. We don't want anything under 18 to sign the signature on our purchase agreement because that may be an issue. Some people may challenge. I don't want really thing happen. But quick claim deed, that's strictly between buyer, the homeowner. It's not related to the seller anymore. So that's why I don't want to create more trouble. That's the best way. Doing the living trust to the minor. Some people do, oh, living trust, I gotta have to spend money. Well, that's the right way to do it, because if you don't doing the trust, what happened? If you don't have a trust, you have to be probate. Oh, I forgot to shut my phone. Probate. Do you know how long it's going to be taking a probate court if you need to go to the court? Well, you're lucky. 1 year, 2 to 3 years expecting. 1 year, you're lucky. If I don't know which county, maybe. It depends how many counties. LA County, good luck. Orange County, good luck. 2 to 3 years. Maybe some other county in the middle, maybe half year. Who knows? On the Bakersfield area. Yeah. Because those are the issue, and doing that 2 3 years, you cannot do anything. That property freeze if they don't have any living trust, then it's considered probate. Yeah. Without the court confirmation, that means they do have some kinds of paperwork. It could be a will. that probably, you know, they will, you know, may or may not depend, you know, on the situation. They may don't they because that's, you know, exceeding our expertise. You know, we don't want to give the wrong information either. But I would say, you know, double check with the attorney. But I know some of them without or with or without a court confirmation. With the court confirmation, that means court has to be admitted this sale. Put it this way. Without the court confirmation, I mean the court only agree to sell. Oh yeah. Yeah, because when the court confirmation, I mean court has to confirm. If the court is not allowed or court is not confirmed, the deal is off. So you do have a risk if you need a court confirmation. So, and we don't want to jump into anything if the seller doesn't know. We better ask the seller. You ask your attorney before I put on the listing. Do we require a court confirmation or not? Is it considered probate, or do you have a living trust? You gotta have to find out. Because if you have a living trust, you gotta have what? A trust article, right? If you don't, then that's not living trust. No, living trust doesn't have to be probate, because a living trust usually kept it in the attorney office. And when somebody passed away, attorney got notified, and they will send those living the article, you know, the copy to the court. So that means the court glad to see that, because court doesn't like to take the case. They got too busy. They are too busy. They try to reduce. That's why they try to state and the even the county. They try to cut down the budget. Court, that's one of them. Just like used to be DMV, but DMV is sometimes, you know, remember some of DMV they closed down and reopen again. Why? Too many people need to drive, so they cannot shut down DMV, and they have to do something, you know, differently. Then I mean, court, they can close the court, Supreme Court especially. Okay, so they try to avoid, you know, people go to suing each other or go to the court. Probate, that's, you cannot do anything about it, and you have to go to the court. If you don't have any, it's like you die in an accident and you got a lot of will, and you have no will and happen an accident, then I have to go to the probate with a court confirmation, because court has to find who is going to be inherited, so they can collect possibly tax. What do you think court is like? What is benefit to them anyway? Tax. Inheritance tax. That's it. That's all they care. Yeah, right. Justice for what? Do they really care who get how many shares? It's not their property. It's not their money anyway. All they care is, you know, government's money. Yeah. So, okay, we're clear on this. All right, go back. Yes. If the buyer is the agent, okay, you need to disclose it. Yes. Principal is not agent though. California licensee. You gotta have to do the proper words. Because which state agent? If the out of state, then it doesn't count. Here, okay. So that's why I say the principal that means buyer or maybe seller. When you submit the offer, you can say buyer is a California licensee. Because sometimes when I'm selling the property, I selling the agent's property, and they're still practicing other company's agent house. They don't want to be a listing agent. I say, you sure you can list your house? No, James, we want you to list the house. And the commission, I say, oh, don't worry, we'll pay your premium 6%. Yeah, I did that for Korean. They don't want to list their own house. First of all, E&O insurance will not cover. First of all, second of all, they trust my ability. They want, James, you can sell the higher price. You think so? That's I'm not. I'm just a human being. Okay. So I do whatever I can, but I mean certainly I deliver, for what they're expecting. No mistake. And they trust me, and they say, okay, thank you so much, and they certainly pay me premium. Yeah, and end up the buyer's agent is our coworker too. So everybody happy, 3%. Yeah, that's a $730,000 or $740,000 house in Hacienda High. Yeah. You just no. You can put in a purchase agreement. The purchase agreement, we have other term and condition, right? The 3 line. You just put it there. Just like when I'm helping my parents sell their house, or I'm helping my brother purchase their house. So what do? I have to disclose too, right? Buyer's agent is related with buyer, or buyer's agent with a related to principal. All I need to do is just state it, and you state it again on where? Disclosure statement. 2 area. I will just, so no mistake, because the other party, they cannot challenge me. Or if the certainly everybody buying their own house, then you disclose, I'm the California licensee. Yeah. Then the last page of a purchase agreement. On the top, you'll let the seller sign it. But also, on the top of a page, I know a lot of people may be missing that little part. Is the on the top here. We kind of forget to check here. One or more buyers signing this agreement is representative capacity, and not for him or herself as an individual. See attached representative capacity signature disclosure, or as RCSD. B mean buyer, the buyer part. Okay. For additional term, if you're signing, if you're the power of attorney, or you are the company's manager, or whoever, you are the authorized to sign the purchase agreement or listing agreement, you need to attach with this representative capacity signature disclosure, depending on you are the buyer side or the seller side. The seller side, I mean -S. Buyer side, -B. Don't worry, that paperwork I will attach to it, later on, representative. But just tell you, when you check this, you will have, those form that will pop out. Once you click if I do it here, like this, see that? They generated right away. See that? When I do the check mark, bang, generated. Okay. If I do the check mark right here, same thing. They generate additional signature addendum. Now the form is so smart. You do the check mark, they tell you, don't forget, we already printed out this one. Used to be, you have to do it yourself. You add it to the form manually, now automatically. Yeah. You could, though. I know, really good question. Is it okay to do the signature? Well, technically, yes, but I rather don't do that. It's because that is a last defense. Because if that is a digital signature, it's really hard to persuade the other party. Is that the right person to sign? Nobody knows now. But escrow, how did they verify? Escrow had to see the article. Then the article and the matching with that person. Then when the person going to escrow or something, then they have to show their identity. But I rather don't do that, is because I rather on this steps, that form, personally, I prefer the wet ink. But if the buyer or seller or whoever is signing it for the representative capacity, they are in a foreign country. Well, not much we can do. If they can print it out, sign it, scan email back to me, that's great. If not, then I can set up for DocuSign for digital signature. But I try not to do that is because that is pretty much you have to, because that form you have to acknowledge by the buyer or the seller, the other party. Then you better have a like signature because they know rest of the signature is not signing in him or herself as a buyer, because it could be a company purchase, it could be a power of attorney. Then they want to make sure they did not selling a fake buyer or a fake seller. Why? Did you ever heard about it? Why this situation happened is because before this form available, what's a case happened before? Tenant selling the property. And when the seller come back, wait a minute, it's not my property anymore. Landlord, come back. What happened to my house? Sold! Because tenant signed everything as part of a seller. Can anybody notice that? No. And if the assuming seller signing the grantee outside of a area, say like going to the UPS store, did they have notarized area? Yeah. You get a what? Fake ID. Okay. Okay, that's you. You send that original to the escrow. Then if they didn't notice it, send to the title company, then record it. Then give it another account for the tenant's account. They can, you know what they can do? They can bring the fake ID to open an account to the bank with who? The tenant as a joint account. Once I get the money, close account. Bye. Sell the house. Without even sellers here. Sellers in a foreign country. They don't even know. When they come back, wait a minute, when is my house got sold? Can it be done? Yeah. Yeah. It's not funny, but it's the it happened. I heard it. Yeah. Just like wiring fraud. That's another fraud. Could be. They wire the money to whatever the account. Looks like. That's why before the buyer wiring the money, make sure call the buyer's agent. Make sure call the escrow officer. Don't just rely on emails account. When somebody sends you the email, because our information, our email or our computer can be hacked by the hacker. And they sell this information to someone else. And they can just, oh, okay, they especially love our computer as agent. We got so many email. And they can send an email like as part of a lender, as part of you, or part of an escrow. Then the buyer think, yeah, that's legitimate. And they never called in to verify. Poof, wire the money to somewhere, some account you don't even know, and gone. And you cannot even sue the bank, because who authorized to wire the money? You, buyer. Bank doesn't care. Buyer doesn't even care. It's that the other party is what account. They don't care, because who authorized it? You, buyer. So that's why we're signing the wiring fraud on right before on our purchase agreement. Why? That's why we mention and warn to the buyer, be careful on that, because that's the smart guy and try to make the crime. Used to be when we don't have wiring, yeah, you don't have those crime. Now technology, it can make I said no privacy, so everything can be hacked. Okay, don't even think our stuff is secure enough. It can be hacked. It can be break in by those hackers. Because the electronic stuff, if the computer, they all have so many different ports. When we say port, that's more like a back door. We don't go in the front door. We go in the back door when I'm the computer engineer, and I can hack. Yeah, been there, done that. 32, acceptance the offer. Seller warrant that seller is the owner of the property. That is important. But how do you prove the seller is the owner of the property? I know it's a little bit tough if they give you the fake ID, right? Or has authority to execute this agreement. Seller accept this above offer and agree to sell the property on the above term and condition. Seller has and acknowledged recipient of copy of this agreement and authorized broker to deliver a signed copy to the buyer. So those are if once the seller signing on the bottom, same thing. If the seller acceptance is subject to attach counter offer, if you do have a counter offer, then you mark it right here and put a date. If the seller, has a attached counter offer, okay, doesn't matter seller counter offer or seller multiple counter offer. You put the dates right here. If you do have it, so you can actually tell the escrow, please looking for the next looking for the counter offer. The purchase agreement is not the ending. You're looking for the counter offer. Same thing on the other check mark, one or more seller is signing the agreement in a representative capacity and not for him herself as an individual. See attached representative capacity signature disclosed for additional terms. So those are, same thing, the seller, -S. Go back to the 32. How do you prove, the owner? I know it's a little bit tough. If those crime, when they committed, usually they were looking for some, the house with the cash buyer, no loan. So they can maximize their profit right? when they sell it. Because when you are the listing agent, when you start asking questions, okay, when we go to the listing presentation before that, did you ever check? I believe you will check on the title. If you do not check the title, be careful. You may, signing the blind listing agreement because you don't know who is the seller, the true seller, and how many seller. So if you could, before you're signing the listing agreement, what you can do, at least take a look at the real list. Real list is not everything, but at least I get you 80% of the accuracy. Why I say 80%? Because sometimes the real list only showing one seller or two seller, but that's it. We don't know if they have 3 or 4. Only the title company know. So before you're signing the listing agreement, can you ask a title rep to give you a title report? Sure, it's free. That's how the title rep earn your business, and that's how you make them work. You have to make them, you gotta have to kind of check on their service. Are they gonna give you the service like that? You just a phone call on the customer service on the title company. They'll give you they will email you the report. Then you will see how many seller and who is for the company for the mortgage. If so those are some minor detail you can kind of asking the seller to try to prove that. It's really awkward. You ask the seller, can I see your ID, please? It's not like you go down and signing the credit card. Just same thing, though. I mean, what's the difference? You go down, the people will check your ID, see if, okay. Just like you go to the Costco, they will check the ID, right? Your credit card is the same name with your Costco membership and with the photos, right? Okay, same thing. But it's kind of awkward. You ask the seller, can I see your ID? To prove you're the owner, right? But you can have other ways to kind of test it. Oh, by the way, do you know how much mortgage you still have? Oh, do you mind to see on your because I will do an automatic payment, or do you have any statement so I can see? You know what I'm testing? If you can show me the mortgage statement, yeah, most likely you are the seller. Oh, but I mean, for the cash payoff house, it's really hard to look at it. Or cash purchase because no more loan. Then you can ask them and say, when do you buy that house? How much do you purchase? And You know, those are some of the questions you can kind of test it because you already see the title. When did they purchase and how much they purchased? Okay. And how many seller? Because sometimes, you know, you already look at the title report, you know how many seller. Those are the questions you ask and see if they are the true seller, just in case. We don't want any lawsuit. Because when somebody's suing a principal, believe me, we're the agent. They're suing us too, and our company, brokerage. So those are the questions you can kind of, you know, asking the seller. Just like I heard about it, just for the scenario, you know, the theft, they stealing the stuff in country, Diamond Bar. That's last time I heard. They are the tenant in country for live there for 1 year. You don't even know. Find it by the time when they are doing the action. So many victims. But later on, they found out they've been lived there for about almost 1 year. Neighbors. Yeah. I say, is that really worth it? Oh, they better, you know, because the rent is not cheap. They live in the country. So sometimes, you know, for the organized crime, they will not do the action until they really execute it. Just like that tenant, they was, you know, live in their house for the especially big house, and they were actually looking for those victims, maybe advertised through the paper, through the newspaper or private sector. They didn't go through agent for the listing, and they will check on the title, see if they are the all cash being paid off. So they try to be a tenant. Then they try to, you know, maybe later on they sell it, that property, and make sure they will make sure that the seller is not in the United States, because every time you say, oh, you when they call landlord, oh, I have the then usually it's like they're like the say their relatives, somebody watched their house for them, and they know. Oh, where's the seller? Believe me, their relative would say, oh, they're in a foreign country. What country? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay. Those are the victim. Those are the seller they are targeting now. So if those are the situation happen. So if you guys are interested in doing the listing for the lease, you know, for with the landlord, you can kind of scare them using this. Or you don't go by the agent, then they may have, you may become a victim, especially your house is all cash, it's been paid off. If you like to, because those are the situation may happen. Okay, those are the easy to target. If I want to commit a crime, I will targeting those sellers. Same thing, because you got to think what they think. If the financing, I don't want it. Or I targeting on those foreigner, because they're not here. Nobody care. Yeah. Especially the you tell them, you know, the instruction basically, oh, you deposit the money directly to the bank, and it doesn't really have anybody or management company to manage, and it's only the relatives managing. Or some of them, they don't even manage it. They call the seller directly overseas or by, you know, our social media or email. Done. They were targeting those sellers. Yeah. Especially they never check those people's background. Everything can be fake, from the name to the social security number to their ID. Everything fake. So do the credit report can be fake. And they pay cash. So that not only when somebody paying the rent, cash rent, especially a bigger house, we got afraid that they may be planting marijuana or baby factory or something else. Now you really see the prostitution on that. Used to be has it. Yeah. Those three, they all pay cash. Then once you got the issue and somebody, you don't want those detectives walking to the office. You know what's going on. I seen that, you know. They are calling our co-worker. Okay. Uh-oh. Two detectives coming in, then you know what's wrong. Yeah. And certainly, seller sign it. And right here, on the bottom, do not initial if making a counter offer. That means if you accept the purchase agreement, you initial right here. That means this is a buyer acknowledgement, acceptance. When sellers sign the agreement, for example, if this is a case, we don't have any counter offer. Seller accept the way it is for the offer from buyer. Seller sign it. This is what? Agreement, binding agreement. Wait until this initial. It can be the buyer's agent or buyer's initial. Then it's a confirmation of acceptance. Is it going to be break the deal without the initial? No. It's just a confirmation of acceptance. That's it. Confirmation. It's not agreement. We already agreed. Seller accepted, binding agreement. Seller cannot back out anymore. Done. So some of us sellers say, oh, you know, buyer haven't initial yet. Can I back out? No. If you're the listing agent, you tell seller no. Do you want to make some money or not? So that's why when you tell the seller, say, once you sign it, you have to sell to this particular buyer. It doesn't matter we have higher offer coming in later on. It only can be a backup offer. You cannot say, hey, can we switch a different offer? No. This is not in Asia. American, we have to be honored, whatever, you know, the contract. You can only accept it as a backup offer if somebody offered higher once they sign the signature. A copy of a signed acceptance was personally received by buyer or buyer's authorized agent. Then you put the date on it, you know, when you sign it. A binding agreement is created when a copy of a signed acceptance is personally received by a buyer and buyer's authorized agent, whether or not confirmed in this document. See that? Did I tell you? Whether or not confirm this document. So that means when it's like, why it's created? When you sign, it's past tense already. It's created. Binding agreement has been created. So don't be naive to tell the seller, say, yeah, you know, the buyer haven't initial yet. Yeah, we can still back out. No, you cannot. All right, make that clear. Completion of this confirmation is not legally required in order to create a binding agreement. So we get a lot of things, a lot of people will mess up between a binding agreement and acceptance. Acceptance is nothing almost. Binding agreement is then a binding together. Acceptance is not binding. It is solely intended to evidence the date that confirmation acceptance has occurred. Okay. So now it's clear, because used to be it doesn't really have. They didn't really make the bold prints right here. They only put the confirmation. Now everything bold print is like, okay. So this is not a. You don't have to confirm, but agreement has been done. Binding agreement has been done. Okay. Yes. Well, as long as you do not deliver to the buyer, you can still back out. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, usually I will deliver. Oh. Yeah, we can afford it. Otherwise, why you are wasting my time? I won't get paid until you sold. It's not I will pay for procedure. I won't get paid for whatever the processing. No. I won't get paid until close of escrow. If down in the road something wrong with it, I still won't get paid. Yeah. No, I won't do that. I rather get paid sooner, not pay more later. Not much difference. Because I want to keep my listing fresh if it's possible. Hold on. So we're clear on that. All right. Real estate broker are not parties to the agreement between buyer and seller. Okay. So that means if you are the licensee, then you have to disclose. B, agency relationships are confirmed as stated in paragraph 2. On the first page, what company based on the brokerage. C, if specified in paragraph 3A2, agent who submitted the offer for buyer acknowledge receipt of deposit. D, cooperating broker compensation. Listing broker agreed to pay cooperating broker selling firm, and cooperating broker agreed to accept out of the listing broker proceed in escrow the amount specified in the MLS. Providing cooperating broker is a participating of the MLS in which the property is offered for sale or a reciprocal MLS. If listing broker and cooperating broker are not both participating of the MLS or a reciprocal MLS, in which the party is offered for sale, then compensation must be specified in a separated with writing agreement, CBC. Declaration of a lease, license and tax may be used to document tax reporting will be required, or the other exemption exists. So that means the MLS, whatever showing the percentage, that's a guarantee for the other party co-op brokerage, unless you modify using the CBC form, co-op broker compensation form. Either you confirm or you modify. That form can be, got so many ways you can do it. But if you do not join the MLS and you don't have the CBC form signed, technically, listing agent doesn't have to pay the buyer's agent. Yeah. For those people doesn't join the MLS, some of the agent or board, be careful. You won't get paid. If the listing agent know the law, especially like out of area. If we say we belong to Southern California and we offer someone, maybe the Northern California property, we don't belong to their board. And sometimes we don't even know. We could probably locate it on the reciprocal MLS. Make sure you sending the offer. If you didn't want to ask for modify, at least you're sending the offer to confirm the commission paid, because on the reciprocal MLS, you'll see how much they offer for the commission. And you submit the offer with your CBC form. So make sure they will sign. Because outside of area, we are more vulnerable. They don't have to pay us, because we don't belong to their board. Because we do have an argument before, because it used to be only showing the participant MLS. Doesn't really have a reciprocal MLS. Used to be. Then, because now they're adding reciprocal MLS as more protection for us. But our company will still need a CBC form to confirm anyway after they open escrow. Then especially out of an area, why don't you do it now? I want to make sure I get paid after your acceptance. Yeah. If the local area, you don't have to, because right here, MLS, you belong to it, then they have to be honored that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, then both parties sign, the selling firm and the listing firm. Selling firm, that's a buyer. Okay? Buyer's agent. Listing firm, and that's the listing agent. So those are, you fill in all the information. Usually, I know everybody's so lazy. You only, if you're the buyer, you only fill in the selling firm, but you never get, bother to fill in the sell listing firm on the information, their address, their license, their brokerage, blah blah blah. It can be located, through the agents. If you look at a listing, click the agent's link. You'll see their office address, their phone number. Certainly, you'll see on the listing agents their license number, even their brokerage. If you click their, once you get in the link, on their license number, if the license number, click their license number, jump to the next screen, to the BRE screen, you'll see their brokerage, unless they are the broker. If the listing agent is broker, they may not show the brokerage license. Then you probably, skip that. Because right here, you already know the agent's license number, and this is the brokerage license number. This is not Quang's broker. It's not Quang's license number. As a RE/MAX 2000 Realty, the company's brokerage license number. So it's not personal. Those are the personal. Those are the brokerage. Okay? And fill in, email address. But that's, why I take time to fill in everything. It's because just a first impression to make look good in front of a listing agent. Because listing agent doesn't like the sloppy agent, usually. Buyer's agent, sloppy buyer's agent. So just look good, Take a couple more minutes, fill in everything. It's not expecting you fill in the escrow acknowledgement anyway, because on the bottom, it's okay, you leave it blank. Because we don't know. Okay, escrow holder acknowledge receipt of a copy of the agreement. Because usually the escrow, if they will put the stamp on their stamp, on this area. A deposit amount, if it's check, okay. Counter offer number, okay. Seller statement of information, which we don't have it, because that's a seller. And whatever the agree to act the escrow holder, subject to the paragraph 20 of this agreement, any supplemental escrow instruction and the terms of escrow holder, a general provision, because this part is the escrow officer, they filled in, not really our issue. But usually the escrow probably just skip that. They since they issue the escrow instruction, disclose everything anyway. So supplemental. So the escrow instruction, only the supplemental escrow instruction and the term, okay, because they still based on this is the main agreement. Escrow agreement, escrow instruction is only supplemental. So that's why every time you see that escrow instruction is supplemental escrow agreement. That's it. The main binding agreement is still a purchase agreement. Escrow holder is advised that the date confirmation acceptance of the agreement as between buyer and seller is, okay, and escrow holder, who is it? Escrow number, everything. It can be filled in by the escrow officer. Their address, their phone number, escrow holder has followed the license number, because the escrow, they also need to fill in their license number. Okay. Okay, here. Presenting this offer. Technically, if you really want to make it right, You should, listing broker, present this offer to seller on what date? Or broker or designee listing. So usually it's who designated, who signed it? Seller or broker. Did you present this offer? Because they are prevent some of a listing agent, they put it aside. So if you really want challenge the listing agent, this is what they ask them. I need you to see the seller sign presenting the offer, and you don't accepting my offer since I did not receive the counter offer from you. That means you reject it, right? Then can I get the last page of a purchase agreement right here? Rejection of offer. Who gonna sign? Seller, not seller's agent. Seller's initial. No counter offer is being made, and this offer will be rejected by seller on what date? Clearly, if you got multiple offer, you only accept one offer. Some of the offer, you don't even want to keep it as a backup offer. Then reject it. Or somebody really want to challenge you, you send the rejection. Usually, when you present the offer, rest of the offer, if you're not accepted, I'll probably have the seller sign a rejection on the day when I present the offer. They don't even want to make the counter offer. But usually, what I did is if you got multiple offer, you can choose. You don't have to reply or counter offer all the buyers. If you have 10 offer, you have no time to, reply back to them. Some of it, you got, the careless. So if like 10 offer, if I would do, I will counter. You have seller to counter top 3. If the seller cannot make the final decision on the spot, then you better counter top 3. Seller multiple counter offer. Then reject the other 7 offer. Do it right here. If the seller, if the seller is 2, no, 2. If a 2 seller, all sellers initial. All sellers initial. Then you date it. Then you can actually verbally telling the whoever submit the offer on the buyer's agent, thank you so much for the offer. Sellers, accepting others. But if they want to challenge you, you have the seller sign initial and the date. It's up to you. Are you gonna send it back to them with the last page with the seller rejection or not? But if somebody challenge you, you already have come prepared. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But are you going to challenge that? I don't. I'd rather have seller, because if, for example, if the buyers, they don't believe the listing agent, can they still bring the offer and seeing the seller? Possible. If they can find out where sellers live, or sellers still live on the subject property, and they say, did you ever see this offer? Uh-oh. Buyer knock on the door to seller's home and say, did you ever see this offer? Oh, this is my offer. I think this is a great offer. Well, how come you don't accept mine? Then if the seller says, I never see your offer, listing agent, you will be in a big trouble. Because you have seller accepting others buyer, and this is a better offer, and they already accept the date, everything is there, at the same time. Then, yeah, you're in trouble. One time I lose a deal. It's because it got so close. The buyer's agent, they really put the effort. When he know the seller's going to listing agent's office, review all the offer, and he rushed in. He did not fax in. He did not email the offer to the seller. He rushed into the listing office and talked to the seller, present the offer in front of a seller. Can they do that? Yes. Because listing agent, I told them, I'm going to meet the seller in my office on what time? I lose a case because of that. Am I too lazy? Maybe. Unpredicted. It happened. Okay? I'm not perfect, you know, but I learn. I'll learn from my mistake or learn from my failure. That situation happened before. Yeah. And even my buyer willing to pay $5,000 more. Too late. Sellers will accept on the spot when that buyer's agent present the offer and wipe out all the offer on listing agent presented to him or her. I don't know, the seller. Okay. Or maybe both. And that buyer's agent presented in front of a seller and seller just signed it. Even my buyer can pay more because I leave the reserve, you know, and my buyer says, we don't want to pay that high. Nah. Okay. Then our listing agent really want to sell it to me and say, if somebody's pay higher, I'll let you know. But in not enough time, the listing agent notify me because seller signing the buyer's agent that offer on the spot and listing agent is shut. James, I'm so sorry. I really want to help you, but that buyer's agent just show up during our meeting and want to present the offer in front of us, and I cannot stop it. I say, I understand. I understand. Very rarely, right? Hey, it's all happened to me. I don't know. Sometimes I always, you know, put on those odd case, you know, odd situation. But I learn. That's how I learn. Seller's agent may not counter seller directly. No. You cannot, but buyer can. No, buyer's agent, a selling agent can present an offer on behalf of a buyer in front of a seller. Yes. But you cannot, as a selling agent, you cannot contact seller directly. So you call them or visiting them without buyer. But the only time you can present is an offer. I have a buyer's offer with me, and I want to present it in front of you. Even buyers is not there, but I want to do a presentation in front of you, present this offer. Can listing agent stop that? No. The listing agent's there in the office. It's just because listing agent and seller review all the offer, and suddenly the buyer's agent, the selling agent pop up in their office. And I want to present my buyer's offer on the spot. Lose the deal. Yeah. Because I keep very close with that. I know they are reviewing the offer. And I talk to the listing agents. If the seller is not happy with our offer, please let me know. See what I can do. I'll push my buyer to pay more. But you let me know at once, then I'll tell you right away. Because, yeah. But the listing agent doesn't have a chance to call me, and the sellers already accept that offer. That's a great offer. It's only $2,000-3,000 more. If I pay another $5,000 more, then it's mine. You could, but listing agents sometimes they just keep their mouth shut. They just because sometimes sellers say, "That's it. I want to accept this offer." Then what do you do? The sooner the better. That's all you have to sign it. Because the other one is not 100%, right? Because the listing agent still have to call me, and my buyer going to be paying $5,000 more. That's why I tell my buyer, say, 活该. Yeah, you deserve it. I told you to add $5,000 more. You deserve it. If we add $5,000 more, then seller have second thought. Oh, this guy is maybe $3,000 because I think it's only $3,000 more. And this is, you know, it's more than this one. Then they will think, but that selling agent pop up the offer, and that's become it's a highest offer. Yeah, that's how I lose that particular competition. Put it this way. Yeah, that close. Okay. Any question on the purchase agreement? No? Okay, we'll continue a little bit, on the buyer's advisory. Buyer's inspection advisory, that's why it's like the, in the purchase agreement, you already mentioned this, okay, the BIA form, but we're just, getting more detail on right here. Paragraph 1, importance of property investigation. The physical condition of the land and improvement being purchased is not guaranteed by either seller or buyer. You have a affirmative duty to exercise reasonable care to protect yourself, including discovery of the legal, practical, technical implication of disclosed fact, and the investigation and verification of information and fact that you know or that are within your diligent attention and observation. A general physical inspection typically does not cover all aspects of the property nor item affecting the property that are not physically located on the property. If the professional recommend further investigation, including recommendation by a pest control operator to inspect in accessible area of the property, you should contact qualified expert to conduct such additional investigations. The paragraph 1 is not talking to us, it's talking to buyer. Okay? It's mentioned to buyer. They have their diligence. They need to investigate. 2, broker obligation. Broker do not have expertise in all area and therefore cannot advise you on many items such as their listing below. If broker give you referral to professional, broker does not guarantee their performance. Even I give you the referral for the inspection company, I cannot guarantee their performance. You're not happy with it, you still cannot sue me. Right here. Ball print. Okay, not really ball, yeah. Yeah, that's what number 3, it's a ball print here. Whatever the item on the bottom, we cannot guarantee. First paragraph is actually telling the buyer. Rest of them, telling the buyer, don't sue us. Okay. 3, you are strongly advised to investigate the condition of the suitability of all aspects of the property, including but not limited to the following. If you do not do so, you are acting against the advice of broker. You don't want to do inspection, you're actually against my advisory. A, general condition of a property is system and component, foundation, roof, condition, age, leak, useful life, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, electrical, mechanical, security, pool and spa, cracks, leaks, operation, other structural and non-structural system and component, fixture, building, appliances. Any personal property indicate in the sale and energy efficient of the property. Those are, you should check on it. You tell the buyer, those are, I advise you to do so. Because this form is advisory, buyer's advisory. So basically, we advise the buyer what to do. B, square footage, age, and boundary. Square footage, room, dimension, lot size, age, improvement, and the boundary. Any numerical statement regarding this item are approximation only and have not been verified by seller and cannot be verified by broker. Fence, hedge, walls, retaining walls, and other barrier and markets do not necessarily identify true property boundary. So being a buyer's agent, if the buyer has any doubt of the square footage, you better check for them or have the buyer at least pull out the title, go to the county or city to pull out the original documents of this property. Because seller and the listing broker is not obligated to do anything. Don't rely on their permits or anything. You have to investigate it yourself with the buyer. Go with the buyer, not just go alone to the county or city, planning or safety department. You go with the buyer. C, would destroy pests. Presence of the condition likely to lead to the presence of a would destroy pest and organism. So if the termite completion or termite inspection, you have to do, tell them to do so. Soil stability, existing unfilled and compact soil, expensive, contractual soil, suspendable to slippage, settling, or movement of the adequacy of the drainage. So if the you have a slope behind it, or if the house built on the slope, especially on those cliffs, it's better, you have maybe you have some inspector to double check, because who knows, you don't want to buy in a house and later on, the house, fall to the bottom of the hills or to the ocean. You got a nice ocean view, but do you have a risk for that? The whole house maybe, slip to the ocean. E, water and utility well system and component and waste disposal. Oh, another thing is that don't give the buyer any suggestion who to hire. If the general inspector say, possibly this and possibly that, if you're not so sure who to hire, sometimes it's the soil has an issue, and you give the wrong suggestion to the buyer, say, structure has an issue, so we should hire the structure engineer. But end up the soil has an issue. And who's going to pay the structural engineer fee? You, agent. You tell me. Okay? Keep the mouth shut. We're not expert who to hire. Maybe if you could, you'd rather have the buyer talk to the general inspector directly. Okay? Instead of you talk to them. You are not the expert who to hire. If those situations happen, you can call the inspector, or you can have the buyer call the inspector who I should looking for to do the further inspection. If the roof leak, definitely we'll know it's roofer. But sometimes the house is not. Sometimes the house is kind of crooked a little bit. Not exactly the structure has an issue. Sometimes foundation or maybe even soil has an issue. Water utility well system and component waste disposal. Water and utility availability, use restriction and cost, water quality, adequacy, condition, and performance. Well system and component, the type, size, adequacy, capacity, and condition of a sewer, septic system, component, and connection of a sewer, and applicable fee. So those are, if some people, do concern, especially septic tank, it's better off they have them do the inspection. Okay, well, same thing. You check the well with their flow, and it's no guarantee, because sometimes the groundwater can be less, or maybe more. And what mineral, what bacteria they have, you should have all the reports if you deal with those property. F, environmental hazard. Potential environmental hazard, including but not limited to asbestos, lead-based paint, and other lead-containing radon, methane, other gas, fuel oil, chemical storage tank, contamination soil and water hazard waste, waste disposal site, electromagnetic field, nuclear source and other substance, material, product, or condition, including mold, airborne, toxic, or otherwise, fungus, similar contaminants. So if he general inspector, they disclose something, don't stop the buyer to do further, especially maybe like mold inspection or anything else. Okay, if they do concern, especially mold, people would have a breathing problem, then maybe it's good to have the inspector double check with the mold issue. Earthquake and flooding, stability of the property and the earthquake, seismic hazard, and representative of the property to flood. The earthquake and flooding, those are, we will check on the for the natural hazard disclosure statement. You can check, that's how we order that. Give it to the buyer, then the seller off the hook. Okay, that's why why we have seller to order that. Fire hazard and other insurance, same thing. The availability of the cost necessary and desired insurance may vary. The location of the property is a seismic, flood, or fire hazard zone, and other conditions such as the age of the property and the claim history of the property and buyer may affect the availability and need to certain type of insurance. Buyers should explore insurance option early, as this information may affect other decisions, including the remove the loan and inspection contingency. So anybody has an insurance issue, fire hazard, right here, buyers, you should, investigate, do anything on it. Not, we are the real estate agent. We are not the insurance agent. Here, we mentioned that, though those are the buyer's advisory. Bear with me for maybe a few more minutes. I'll just finish this page. Building permits and zoning and government requirement. Permits, inspection, certified zoning, and other government limitation, restriction, and requirement affecting the current and future use of a property, its development or size. Those are same thing. When you're checking a permit through the county, square footage, you check everything, through the county at the same time. So do zoning too. J, rental property restriction. If you deal with those for the rent control area, some city and county impose a restriction of the limit of the amount of a rent that can be charged, the maximum number of occupants, and the right of the landlord to terminate the tenancy. Deadbolt and other lock and security system for doors and window, including windows bar, should be exempt to determine whether the safely legal requirement. Some of it, the window bar, the roll iron, on the bedroom, they should have a quick release. That's for the safety, okay? And if you don't have it, you better mention, you could, actually as a buyer, you tell them, say, you have a tendency. Your loan may not go through if the appraiser see that. Because bank doesn't want to have the dead body happen if it's a fire breakout. Because they cannot run out, through the window. Because it's been secured for the raw iron. I know some of the seller, they try to save the money without making a quick release of that. And usually appraiser, they will write it down and the bank will not fund it, the loan. K, security and safety. State and local law may require the installation of a barrier, access alarm or safe latch mechanism, and or other measurement of decrease of the risk of children and other persons existing swimming pool and hot tub, and as well as various fire safety and other measurement concerning other feature of the property. So right here, they talk about a pool issue. So if you do concern, and you better have the buyer, check with that if the city require the barrier, along with the pool. Some of the city, they will. But if the, those are, when they're doing the transaction, it better have the seller complete it, or and you are willing to do so. Sometimes the seller will not pay for it. That means buyer, if you love the house so much, then you pay. Yeah. L, neighborhood, area, subdivision, condition, and personal factors. Neighborhood or area condition, including school, law enforcement, crime statistic, register felony and offender, fire protection, other government service, availability, adequacy, and cost of internet connection or other technology service, installation, chemical, industrial, agriculture activity, existing, proposed transportation, construction, development, and that may affect noise, view, traffic, airport noise or odor from any source, wild and domestic animal, other nuisance, hazard, and circumstance, protected species, wetland property, botanical, disease, historic, and other government protecting site or improvement, cemetery, facility, condition of common area, a common interest subdivision, possible lack of compliance with any government document or homeowner association requirement, condition, and influence of significant to certain culture and or religious, personal needs, requirement, and preference of buyer. They really cover a lot here, the neighborhood. Those are based on the buyers or buyer's agent, both of them, to be verified. Lots of things. So that means buyer, if once you sign the signature, by the sign below, buyer acknowledge that they have understand, accept, have received a copy of this advisory. Buyer are encouraged to read it carefully. Believe me, buyer didn't read carefully and sign it. But that is actually protection for the selling broker and listing broker. So if buyer want to challenge you something, you better know where to find those. They're actually a lot of protection for us. I told you to do it. You did not. Don't blame me. I thought you're okay without the internet. You know, some of the I know one of the area, I'm not so sure is it still valid, but I mean the Chino, and they can only use a satellite signal, and they don't have a cable company. They can be reached. They have no internet unless you use a satellite. That's expensive, right? Okay. Or satellite TV. Well, satellite TV is probably not, but satellite internet, that's a lot expensive. Or your cell phone. Hey, the signal is not good. Don't blame me. You need to check on it during the escrow period. You don't like it, you better cancel. And that's why, you know, we have a wireless Wi-Fi enabled phone. It's just in case, you know, go to Chino Hill, some of the area really have no signal. But when you have a wireless, you know, the router, then at least, you know, you can still have the phone going. So you know, that's another thing is that it's better you enable your smartphone with the Wi-Fi enable phone call. So those are the situation you should check out it, you know, buyers and buyer's agent. Don't rely on your seller tell you everything. Oh, no. Because you are buying the property, you should investigate everything, not seller or listing agent. All they care is selling the property. They don't care about the neighborhood or the environment, who is live here, okay? Who do care? It's buyer. They're moving out, seller's moving out. Yeah. Okay. Thank you to bear with me, and we're starting on the Thursday. We're starting on a counter offer. Okay. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
但是 buyer 一定要付这个 lender mortgage 费用。
对啊，对啊，对啊，对啊。
因为你做贷款的话，要付这一部分。
对啊，对啊，对啊。这个 buyer 如果搞不清楚，来，我复习一下你的合约。Thank you.